matters, but because no one really cares.
You probably also have last year fresh in your mind how horrible Akron was last year.
So I'm pretty sure this may have been faster than last year.
Last year was miserable.
Actually, it wasn't faster than last year, but it was faster than the one year that was really blazing hot, whatever year that was. Last year was hot, but there was another one that was really hot. But it was amazing how nothing really hurts. I mean, it just didn't feel like, I felt great. I felt happy I could do it. I knew I would finish. Like when I was around 18 miles, I'm like, all right, I'll be done, another hour and a half or so. And,
Well, awesome. Where does it tell you that where does this unproductive thing come up?
No, it's these mean things the watch says when you're done running. Like almost.
What do you mean? Where does it? Wait, is it on your Garmin?
Yeah, I think it was in like when it came up on the. No, I think it says it on the watch too. I don't know. Vince sold me this watch that keeps telling me I'm unproductive.
I'm trying to see if mine says that.
A lot of money for that thing to say mean things to me.
Well, all that means is that your fitness is really good because that means you didn't work hard.
I did, well, here's the truth. You know what? I did. It didn't seem that bad. I mean, I fell apart. I probably fell apart. I never hit a wall because I was never like pushing against it. When it pushed at me, I was like, all right. So, I never felt it. But I mean, I was so happy I could do it though. Things I was thinking about was, wow, I have 6 more miles. Oh, well, I remember earlier in the season when I wrote something to the red group that said, okay, our long run is now 6 miles. This is now when I consider it a long run. And it's so amazing how then at this point, I'm like, it's just another 6 miles, like whatever. So, I was appreciating how that is always the case by the end, that certain mileage doesn't seem so bad. But it was really purely just, I'm running out of time to get my weekday runs in. May as well just do it now. And probably Terry inspiring me because she went out the day before.
I gave Leanne a whole bag of candy that I thought would last most of the school year. And then I got a picture with all the wrappers. And so that was what, Friday night? So when you ran your marathon, I was like, oh my God, she's fueled by candy. Like that's your carb loading. Candy carb loading.
It's like my pasta dinner. It's chocolate dinner. But at that point, Friday night, I had no clue I was doing that on Sunday. So I would have eaten better.
Hey, it worked. So you're good. All right, Leanne, do you have a race that you are super proud of that you did really, really well, like a good, or do you want to tell a story about a really bad race?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to tell a story about a bad race, but I mean,
okay.
I had one where it was really bad. My stomach hurt and I was really bad, far away from home. I didn't like that one. So I guess a good race, probably just the first marathon's my favorite.
Because it was your first marathon, or what was it?
And like I had no clue if I would finish. I mean, I thought I would, but that was the most fantastic feeling, was the very first marathon.
All right. Very cool. All right, we're gonna go kind of in order that I have you. I don't know what happened to Terry because she's not in the picture, so we'll wait for her to come back. But Neil, tell us about either a really bad race. Neil, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Just all your camping pictures and go get beer pictures and all the fun stuff that you do. But do you have either example of a really bad race or a really good race?
Lots of bad ones, I think. I don't know which though. A few marathons have not gone so well. Probably because I don't drink enough sports drink along the way.
Yes, that's part of your problem. You drink too much beer. But do you remember that you had a really good trail race one time? Do you remember that? Like your trail marathon is like your fastest marathon, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was probably that's that Halloween one. I can't.
Run with Scissors.
Run with Scissors. Yes.
Yeah. But why was that like your best marathon?
I think
Why do I know the answers to these, Neil? It's because you ate and drank enough during
I was
the
just gonna say, Burning River was also very good, and I like that you get to eat along the way a lot. I think real food is the key, or just eating it.
Have you been taking real food on your training runs?
No, I haven't, but I've paid attention to when I eat gels, and I eat them at the same time every time, and it seems to work. And then I also, since I can't really stop to get refills very much, I only take Gatorade with me. And then I usually do a loop and come back to the truck, and I'll have a little bit of water there to drink, but I refill with Gatorade. So that's pretty much all I'm drinking.
Wow, Neil, it's like a whole new you.
Yeah.
And you're having a good season, right? Are you ramping up? What are you gonna do for your marathon route?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'm actually doing the virtual marathon, so I don't know. I haven't decided.
Okay.
I thought about doing the actual route, but a lot of it's pretty boring, so I probably won't. I'll probably just move around. I will probably do the first half. Maybe I'll do the first half a couple times, or the first 10 miles, because, you know, I live about a half block away from Stan Hewitt, so I'm just going to run from there.
Right. In the future, we're all parking at your house.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that's great. You're doing well this year, so just set yourself up for not getting run over if you're on the roads and fuel stops. So awesome. Okay. All right, Jeff. What is your an example of a great race that you had or a bad race, and why?
I don't know. I don't have any answers for this. Most
Yes,
of them
you
have been bad. Usually it's too hot, whatever. I'm thinking that 26 miles is too far for me. That's what I'm thinking. I think I'm a 13-mile guy.
This year?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I've kind of dropped off. Too many other things. Too many all the problems. Life is in the way.
All right. So what's your plan going to be for what kind of route would you have for your 13? Are you going to stick to
I'd say flat, very flat. The towpath sounds like a great plan, right? Very flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You don't have any pointers for a good race? Turn out. I mean, you use that. What's that program? Core? No.
Yeah, Core. It tells you what to eat and when to eat. Unlike Neil, I do eat when I'm supposed to eat, and try to eat dates, all that stuff. I've been eating that stuff, and just watch what you eat, watch what you drink. Right? We all know this, and regularly fuel. And Leanne, very impressive that you did the whole marathon. That was a hot day. I was like, oh my gosh, it was a long day. It wasn't that hot.
It was a great day.
Was it? Okay. It's just a long way. You're muted, but hey, I'm the teacher.
I spent too much time thinking today about, am I muted? Am I not muted? Are they muted? Do I need to mute them? Like, why is their parent in the background? Yeah, it wasn't hot at all. It really wasn't hot. No, it was really nice. It was a great day.
Good.
It's a great day.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. I did the Boston Mills Hill.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that.
Good job.
I made it legit.
All right, so Jeff, when you started using that Core program, though, that really helped, right? To kind of balance out.
Yeah, it did. It gives you kind of what to eat when, but I think you can do that on your own. Leanne made her own little one, with the whole thing,
Yeah.
Writes up everything. It's just a good idea to do it. And obviously it paid off for Neil. We all know this, right? We need to eat. And
yeah, but we just need to get reinforcement sometimes, so.
Yeah, and it's just a weird year because there's nobody with you. And just like Dave did the run, 21 miles, he posted, wow, I didn't think I could do this alone. I kind of feel the same way. Like, wow, that's a long way to go alone. So yeah. I admire all you guys who did it because it's lonely out there.
I did listen to everybody's the 5 playlists.
Awesome.
So that got me through.
Yeah, the playlists are really fun. If somebody hasn't done a playlist and wants to, send it to me because then we'll just put it on Spotify. It is really fun to do, to listen to other people's music. Like I've found new stuff I never thought I thought about. Mr. Blue Sky Craig.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
That's all I ever think of. It's like Mr. Blue Sky. Perfect way to start.
All right, Carly, do you want to tell us about a really great race? I think you had a really good first marathon, right? Or do you want to tell us about, did you want to tell us about a race that went bad?
Yeah, it was that year that Cleveland had all like the crazy weather. And I ended up having to get like an IV after the race. And like my body temperature was like 93 or 94. It was like really low. And I don't even like remember like the race or anything like about the day other than like sitting in the medical tent for like hours, which sucked. So that was the worst one for sure. And then my favorite one was, my best one was my first race. And I think I was just kind of ignorant to like everything about running. I drank water the whole time. I never ate. I never had like a sports drink, but it was like my fastest time. And I don't know if it was just all the adrenaline and just like not knowing like, oh gosh, I really have to finish, you know? And at that time we lived a little bit closer to Akron too. So like my family and everybody got to like see me at like more frequent points and stuff, which was kind of cool. So that was my best one. Yeah.
Awesome. And are you still running? How are you feeling?
No. So yeah, I've been having a lot of back pain, so I stopped running. I don't know that I'll try like again. Like I've been feeling better like the last day or two, but I'm still swimming, still riding on my Peloton bike and stuff like that. So
okay.
But I'm gonna miss running.
Wait, when's your due date again? Around Thanksgiving?
Yeah, so I'm 30 weeks this week.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
which
right.
is the point of pregnancy when people are like, oh, you're almost there, which is like when people tell you at the beginning of the race, like, oh, you're almost there. That's what it feels like when everybody says that to me right now.
I bet. All right, Jody, what's either a really good race or a really bad race experience?
Well, I had forgotten about the Cleveland one. That was pretty bad. I did the full that day, and oh my God, my hands are freezing. And that's the year that that some lady on the side of the road gave out socks, and I was so happy to see her. And she saved me, literally saved me, because I put dry socks on my hands, and I was so happy. But the one I was thinking of was, I think my best one was maybe New York this year, because I just didn't care, and I just had so much fun. So that was good. And the temperatures were perfect, like 55 degrees is really good for me. It was cool, and I tend to overheat really easily. But my worst I was thinking of was a half marathon I did. And this is, I don't know, so this is years ago. And I was trying to break 2 hours. And it was a hot summer day. It was the Buckeye half back when it did the 2 loops. I don't know if it still does 2 loops. And it was in the summer, in August, I think, down in the park. And I think I started Hal Meadow or something. And I went out with the pacer trying to get to the under 2 hours. And after 8 miles, I was done. Like that was it. Like I was exhausted. And after that, I could barely, I had to stop, walk, and I could barely get myself running again. I felt terrible. And then I tried to start walk a little bit, but it just felt terrible. And Vince will not remember this, but I was in the last mile, and Vince came up behind me and said, come on, you got to run it in.
Was that the year they ran out of water?
No, they did have water. They did. But it was hot, humid, and I just felt like crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking in the last mile, but I didn't care.
Yeah. Well, at New York last year, you took so many pictures.
Oh, yeah, so much fun.
You did so many pictures that I felt like I had run it too with you. That was awesome.
I wanted to remember it. It was great. And I'll get to do it one more time, because I am now confirmed I'm in the New York virtual marathon.
Oh, because you weren't sure if you had made it, right?
Right. So my processing I registered, but the processing hadn't gone through. It got stuck. And so I contacted them, and the same thing happened to Kelly. I ran into her on the bike and hike, and we started talking about it, and the same thing happened to her. And I contacted them, and so did she, and we didn't hear anything. It took like 6 weeks, and finally they got back to both of us the same week and cleared it out. So we're both in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So now we get to, by doing the virtual New York this year, then we qualify to get into the New York either 21, 22, or 23.
okay,
I'm not sure which one we get into.
awesome. And then you're going to do 2 marathons coming up, right?
So I'm also doing Cincinnati virtual.
Was there another one?
No.
No, okay, that's it. All right, when are you doing that?
I was gonna do Akron, but then I dropped because they wouldn't give me they wouldn't count my 10th year.
Do it. No way.
Right, why bother if they're not going to count it? Then, right,
No, you're right.
okay.
It's not like a race. I put on like a beat.
Mark, do you have a story of your best race?
How about the worst race,
Okay,
which
Chicago?
was the Boston Marathon 2011. I was trained. I mean, I was really well trained. Everything was looking perfect. The day was perfect. The wind was at my back. And by the time I got to Framingham, I went to get a goo out of my waist pocket, and there was no goos.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was running really fast and burning through calories like crazy and panicked at that point. And I thought, calm down. Someone will drop a goo on the ground and I'll just pick it up and I'll eat that goo. Well, that day, nobody dropped any goos on the ground. So I thought, well, I'll just drink a whole lot of energy drink. And by the time I got to the halfway mark, my stomach was so full of goo or whatever the energy drink was, I felt miserable. And I think I walked most of the last half in. It was not a good day. And it should have been. But the best marathon, again, was probably my first one in 1984, the Cleveland Marathon, because I just exceeded expectations. It was really, really a good run.
so Mark, I remember watching you finish Cleveland, not in 1984, but I'm not sure.
Were
Exactly.
you even born in 1984?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. If I stick with my age as being 29, no. So you were coming down to the finish line. It was so windy because, it used to get so windy down there. And I just remember you coming through, and I think that you might have qualified. Did you qualify there?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was there and saw that. It was pretty awesome.
That was a pretty awesome run too. Yeah. There's a whole lot of awesome ones. There were very few bad ones.
It's good. Very good. All right. Melissa, have you run very many races? I can't remember now. I know you've not run a half, correct? Have you done 5Ks or 10Ks? Okay.
I've done
good story or bad story?
For me, it was just kind of the excitement of doing it. I'm more interested in hearing other people's, because I think there's a huge difference between doing a 5K and doing a half or a full. So I'd love to hear other. One thing I'd be curious about, because I think what I learned this season was my body needs to build up more muscle mass, given my background of injuries. So I kind of look at this as a blessing, because I got to learn a lot from these calls of eating and hydrating and shoes and training and all this other stuff. But what do you guys do off season to make sure that you stay in the best shape that you can? Because I'm selfishly wanting to do this next year.
You run.
Run.
Keep running.
Run. Keep running.
We still run in the winter. We just get our jackets out.
And we have another group to train for another race. Come on, girl. We don't stop. You go to another one. You go to
Even-
Bigfoot, and then when that's done, you go to Christmas, and then after Christmas, I mean, come on, you're really porked out, so you have to keep running again. And then it's March, and then it's April, and we start again. It's true.
That's good advice.
Yeah, we don't stop.
I would say throwing in a little bit of yoga might not be a bad idea. So
Can I just add though that winter runs do include breakfast? So
oh yeah.
there's
And
some
usually
incentive there.
mimosas. Yeah. Usually a mimosa or two. Uh, or Bloody Mary, depending on, you know, what you like. I'm more of a mimosa girl, so. But yeah, so
That's turned me on to the Bloody Marys.
yeah. But yeah, you know, trying to keep running through the winter and really being able to get like quality clothes that if you're going out for a long run, it's not like you need 10 pairs of running pants. You can have 10 pair of running pants and they're all black and you don't really know which ones you need until you're like, what's the but you know, you get yourself some, you know, a good jacket, good pair of pants and a base layer or so. And then you get yourself outside and you can be surprised at what you can do in the cold weather. So as long as it's not too icy out, you know, you don't want to fall. Especially, are you still battling your IT band issue or your knee? Or is it getting better?
I was really excited. I was able to get in 2 miles with no pain yesterday. So,
Awesome.
So yeah, so I think I'm just gonna like start building back up again. And now going back and doing your workouts that you send to us every week that I wasn't doing. So I think that'll make it
awesome. Yeah, that's good. The weather will be cooler. It'll all be better.
Yay.
All right, Vince, do you have a story, a success story or a failure story that you want to tell us about?
I'd probably say I'll start with the bad race, and that would have been the year I ran Burning River. And I went through the 50-mile split in 7 hours and 22 minutes. And then I finished in 21 hours. So it took me almost twice as long to do the last half as the first half.
So you're saying that's not how you should do it?
It's not recommended. I mean, you know, considering that, you know, the time limit is 15 hours. If you think about it, if it's 30 hours. So I was moving at an hour faster than cutoff pace, the second 50 miles, which can tell you quite a bit. So, and I had a lot of aspirations at that race, and I blame Joe Jurasik for that because he gave me bib number 3. And
what's wrong with 3?
well, it's my lucky number, but he also seeded. That's when he would seed runners, and so he seeded me number 3, and I blame him for cursing me that day.
Oh.
So I had to run with, like, you know, a bullseye on my chest. So, but that was a humbling. I mean, it's almost as humbling as. And then people will ask why, you know, why I don't do 100 milers, and it's because I've never really enjoyed one. Because my first one was Mohican in 2001, and that one I went through 50 miles in 11 hours, and I finished in 29. So the second 50 took me 18 hours. So I walked the last 40 miles. I did not run a step.
Okay, but you still finished these 2 races, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a long time to be out there.
It sounds painful and kind of miserable, but you still did it.
I did it. Yes. I got the buckles. And then, you know, but still, I think they were like, they left their mark on me.
Oh.
So, I mean, you could run a bad marathon and then you run another marathon. No, like 3 100 milers, and I've been kind of, you know, soured on that distance. So, yeah, so I think, and Burning River, just because I knew so many people out there, and Gianna was only, our daughter was only maybe 6 or 7 months old. So she was out there at some spots with Holly, and like my family was just watching this whole race just go to crap right in front of their eyes. And then I wanted to drop out at Boston Store, and nobody would let me drop out at Boston Store. So, and I just said, I just want to be done, and they wouldn't let me be done. So I kept going. So I rank Burning River up there as one of my worst race experiences. So, and then my first, I would say my favorite race experience might be the Punxsutawney 50K in 2010. And I came within 28 seconds of the course record. And I knew I was really close. And the last mile, you pop out at the high school in town, and I was carrying a handheld water bottle, and it was like half full, and I emptied it out, and I was trying to like throw wrappers out of my pockets just to like lighten up, to see if I could run any faster. And I missed it by 28 seconds. But it was a great, like, to me, that was a great day. So, and that's my trail 50K PR, which was 3:53:41.
Very good.
Long time ago. But that was, I just remember running the whole race. I had all the splits memorized from all the aid stations, and I knew what my time had to be going into each of them. And one fatal flaw in what they called the Serengeti, which is like this grassy stretch of trail. And I had a brain fart, and I forgot to take a gel, and I hit a little lull, and then I snapped out of it. And by then it was too late. So I guess it was my best race. And also, there were some times there too that they'll haunt me to this day. So
what's your favorite distance? Is it the 50K or marathon or what?
I like I think trail marathons were always my favorite, because I mean, for me, I was never going to be the fastest as far as leg speed was concerned, but I could run uphill all day long. And I like the combination of the trail component with the marathon distance. So
you want to show us your shirt? So you still like to run uphill?
I hit a monumental mark yesterday. I went over 300,000 feet of elevation gain for the year.
Wow.
So, and I still can't stop doing hill repeats. I did them this morning.
And your quads are not like super huge, that your hamstrings are getting a workout as well? Have you run up any of these hills backwards?
No.
I'm worried about this imbalance that you could have.
Oh, I have an imbalance. It's mental. It's a mental imbalance. But no, I mean, I'm not really. I did have a little twinge in my hamstring, and I thought, as soon as it happened, I thought Brenda. And so no, I think I'm feeling okay.
Okay. You just might want to throw in a couple of deadlifts, is all I'm saying. You just do a little bit of deadlifting, and, even just body weight, just to work the hamstrings a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have time for any of that stuff, but
or you could do some yoga, but
I would love to do yoga, but that's not going to happen either. I mean, all I can do is I had the exercise band out the other day.
Oh boy.
So that was
run uphill.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so, but I told Holly, I was like, I want to get on this call tonight because I haven't seen you guys in a while. So I've been too busy. So, and we're trying to get more races happening, in-person races too.
How are things at the store?
Good. We've been, I mean, also very busy, which is good. So we're seeing a lot. I mean, so many families are now out in the parks together, or just friends doing meetups for walks and, people starting to run. I mean, it's really crazy how many new customers we're seeing. This whole thing has created. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. And cross country's happening, which is pretty promising. So, so we're kind of moving towards in-person races, but it's just we're gonna have to see how this winter shakes out. But we're still hopeful that Bigfoot might happen in December.
Okay. And what would you say Burning River was a success?
Yeah, I mean, we've had no post-event reports of anybody being sick, and I was very proud of how everybody conducted themselves during the event too. I mean, the use of mask and just everybody's kind of responsibility to make sure that they were doing their part. It ended up working out pretty well. It was strange. We did the start of the 50 and 100 took an hour and 33 minutes. One person at a time, single file, every couple minutes.
Good thing you have a fancy timing machine, huh?
Yeah. Well, now I'm seeing the Towpath Marathon is saying they're going to happen.
It seems very narrow.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's what they're promoting. So, I don't know. All the races that we're looking to put on would be trail races, and one of the big components that these health departments are really focused on is the lack of out and back traffic with large densities of people.
So you would need to do more like a circle?
Either a loop or point to point. That was the one favorable thing about Burning River is people are going 50 miles one direction before turning around and seeing any cross traffic. So, yeah, I mean, point to point would obviously be the best, but we're just gonna have to see how it all plays out.
All right. Did you change the hours of the store?
We're 11 to 6 Monday through Friday, 11 to 4 on Saturday, and 12 to 4 on Sunday.
Okay. So still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any intention of going back to 8 o'clock. So, I mean, one of the things that this is like, people will just have to shop when we're open. I mean, it's nice at 6 o'clock to not have to worry that somebody's going to call you and say they forgot their store key or, whatever the little things are. So, it's nice to, close up the store and not have to worry that stuff's going to happen once you leave. So
that's good.
But I still take a day off every once in a while.
So you can run uphill somewhere?
Yep, exactly.
Not a day off running.
No, streak is still alive.
Okay. All right. What day is today?
How many days?
Today, what's that?
How many days?
Tomorrow, I think will be 870.
Wow. All right.
So,
good job, Vince.
Thank you. And you guys, anybody can come visit me at the store now. So.
Were there restrictions before? Some of us weren't allowed.
Well, there was a lot of like by appointment but like, you can pop in and just shop normal now. I mean, you have a mask on.
Where are you spending most of your time? Brecksville or Hudson?
Brecksville.
Okay.
Usually around 2 or 3 o'clock, I could use like a cup of coffee or something. So if you're.
Yeah, so could I, but you have to come. You can't come see me at the hospital, so.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
I've been doing caffeinated noon because I'm working a lot of shifts on my own, and it's just not the same. There's something social about a cup of coffee. You know, like it sets the tone. Whereas like when you're, you know, crushing noon for the caffeine rush, it's not exactly the same feeling. So
You have to start to listen to the playlist that Jeff put together so you can get some music going. So
oh, Mary Sutter's messaging. I am not wearing a mask when I run.
Now, have you tried them though? Like I didn't know how different they would be from the regular masks, or if anybody had seen them. But they have
No.
some that are supposedly performance masks made for running and stuff.
If I was gonna put something on my face, I'd probably go with a lightweight buff. But yeah, I have not ran with the mask on yet. I don't know. I would hope they're breathable if they're marketing them that way, but yeah, I just haven't.
You know,
And we haven't sold any at the store either because I'm so like, you're pushing out so much air. How can something that close to your face actually breathe? So
I think the thing is we have to remember, like we're not living in New York City where there's so many people that you could be in the park where you're around so many people. So I would suggest that we're all running in places where we're not around that many people, and then you wouldn't need to wear a mask. I understand the towpath and the bike and hike get busy, but we just need to find other areas or go at different times of day where it's just really not that congested.
Is it only me, but when I run down the trail and somebody has a mask and they like put it on their face and then they turn away from me and like step off the trail, don't you feel like an alien going by? Like, do they really think I'm gonna like, first of all, do you think I have COVID? I'm running all these miles down the trail. I guess I could have it, but it just seems like they're just walking and it's like you're an alien. Okay, just my problem. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Well, and I
get
think
it.
if they're on a path like that, then you'll know that you're going to encounter people like that.
Yeah, and I just think it's kind of weird because they kind of look at you like you're, I don't know, some
Like
weirdo.
Like an alien or something.
Maybe they have COVID.
Sure, yeah, there you go.
no, there's a new community of what I call like sidesteppers, and they sidestep off the trail.
Oh, I like
and,
that. Sidesteppers.
And then they shun you.
Yes, they do. And then they would look back to see if you're gone. You know, like I know for 30 seconds or whatever, my stuff is still blowing in the air. And I'm like, hey, I'm not even trying to exhale when I get near you because I know it's going to give you something. It's weird.
So a lot of times I will, if I see somebody being standoffish like that, then I return the favor and I pivot my shoulder to ignore them as well.
Ooh, the cold shoulder.
Yeah, the cold shoulder.
Can you get a shirt that says, get away from me, sidesteppers?
I've seen face masks that say, if you can read this, you're too close.
Yeah, I saw somebody on the trail that had one of those 6 feet that way or something, you know. I was like, well, okay, got it.
Well, and if you're running with somebody else, that's a good time to start talking about, you know, how that party you went to, all those people had COVID.
Yeah.
So that really, then you might see them jump in the canal. So, but no, I mean, at Burning River, the most common thing we saw people using was the buff, because you could just pull it up over your face. Now they're saying that those aren't effective, but
I actually saw a study that had studied different types of masks and face coverings. And the one that was actually worse than wearing nothing was fleece, because fleece evidently actually disperses the droplets that come through. It just makes it worse. So go with smart wool is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how things go this fall. But again, I just think if we can pick routes where, you know, you're not around as many people, that would be the best idea. All right, Carrie, do you want to tell us about a bad race or a good race? Do you have an example of one or the other?
I've had more good races than bad races. Last year I feel like was kind of bad. I wasn't feeling well, so that wasn't fun. But that, I don't think there was anything that I did. I think I was just a little sick. Cause actually I ended up it was right at like a few days after the race, I had bronchitis. So I think I was starting to get sick during the race. But so that was bad because that didn't feel good. But I don't know, a good race really is like any race where I feel like just really strong at the end. I did a race. It wasn't a half marathon. It was a 10K, but I had worked with a trainer. And so I think I did a really good job that season of doing a lot of cross training. So I just felt really strong. And even in like the last mile, I just felt like I still had a lot of kick left. So yeah, anytime I feel like I can finish really strong is a good race. So that was a really good race. And it was a really scenic race too. It was really pretty. So that always helps. But yeah.
All right, and your calf is doing okay?
So far, so good, but I haven't done any hills. I need to try and start tinkering with some hills to see what that does, but I have a couple around here that are pretty steep.
Well, maybe start with something. Start a little bit.
Well, I wasn't going to try running them. I figured I would just walk it, like just walk the hill and see, because that's probably going to be enough, honestly. It's like maybe just doing some walking hill repeats just to see how that feels. I'm not going to run it. It's pretty steep.
Where is this hill at?
It's off of the bike path over in Monroe Falls. It goes actually into one of the neighborhoods right by the river.
Yep.
It's got some height to it.
Yeah, that's steep.
It's not very long, but it's steep. Yeah. So I figured that'd be a good warm up.
I don't know. I would pick maybe not so steep just to start.
No.
But
find something else. I'll keep looking.
Therapist in me, but is thinking maybe you need to start a little bit more gradual.
You're probably right. Actually, I feel like, I have done a few gradual hills, but they're like really, really gradual. So they don't feel like hills.
All right. Well, you're getting better.
I don't know.
That's the main thing. You're getting better.
Yeah, I definitely am feeling stronger. So that's helping. I did start going to the gym, so I have started doing some heavier weightlifting, and I feel like that's helping too. So if at least it gives me more confidence that I'm going to do better. So that's good.
Good. All right, you guys all missed it because Carrie and I discussed the book for a book club last month. We had a great discussion.
Yes. we got very personal.
Yeah, we through that book. Yes, we did. So
when did the picture books come in?
Hey, this one has pictures. Showing Carrie because she didn't have the book with pictures. So
no. The audio, you missed that with the audio book. You missed the pictures.
All right.
But
all right, tell everybody what the next book is.
The next book is The Biggest Bluff, and it's about this woman who's a psychologist, and she decides to see what she can learn by playing poker, because she had heard someone say that the poker table is just like this like little ecosystem for like watching people's personalities. So it just seems kind of interesting. So far, I'm in the first couple chapters in, it's pretty good. Hopefully it'll stay that way. We're not switching writers like we did in the last book, hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Terry, do you want to tell us about your marathon? How did it go?
Oh, it was good. I didn't even plan on running it that day. I was going to do it the next week because Boston said you had to run it from Monday to Monday. But so I came back from a run on Friday and it said, oh, if you want to run this weekend, they opened it up that you can get the app on the phone. So it was like, I knew the weather was going to be good and I thought I was just going to do it. It looked perfect for Saturday. So if anybody's looking for a quiet spot that you won't see any people, and it's a nice hill, it's a very nice route. It's Boston Mills Road. You know, you take the towpath to Boston store, and then you go up this beautiful hill. And I mean, it's really a nice hill. I really enjoy the hill. You just have to be careful of the traffic. You know, you got to jump on each side when the cars come, but there's nobody there.
Steep.
And then the bike and hike down Brandywine Falls. I didn't see too many people out really that on Saturday morning. So it was good.
So you had a good day.
I had a good day. I started off slower and I finished faster, and that was a good day.
Awesome. I think you missed it where you inspired Leanne to get her marathon done on Sunday.
Good.
So yeah. So very good. All right. Do you have a best race that you can remember? Like what you would think, or a bad race that you want to share?
I had a couple of really good. We had the best race. And then all of a sudden it turned out to be the worst race.
Yeah.
But then the next year we had the best race. So I mean, every race, there's a reason for every race. And, you know, you can't say they're really bad because even if it's not the best race, I think you learn something by bad races.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. All right. Thanks, Terry. Craig, do you want to tell us about either a good or bad race experience?
Sure. So probably the best experience was the first, because prior to that, I didn't even know what a marathon was. So a year before, I couldn't tell you how long a marathon was, and I was running one, so it was kind of cool to be able to complete it. No world records or anything, but it was kind of neat to get out there and complete it after training and, you know, conditioning and everything. Probably the craziest one was this last year's Bigfoot. I only did the 20, but it was a little muddy. And I think, I don't know, Jeff, who was out there? Jeff and Dave. It was kind of fun running through that. And so that was an interesting experience. Did it really slow, and but it was kind of fun.
All right. So Craig, what are you going to do for your culminating?
Marathon?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a bad season. Even though I'm doing the miles, it's just been tough. Thinking about maybe doing it with some people. I'm doing the Akron course, keeping socially distanced, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Most likely just do the Akron course. Either last year's one or a couple of years ago.
Okay, don't get run over.
Well,
I feel like there are areas that are not super great, but okay. Well, it's something to look forward to. Okay. All right, Mary, do you want to share either a good race experience or a bad race experience?
You're a weird one.
Okay.
I did this half marathon in Idaho. It was supposed to be in Boise, but last minute they had to change the course, and by last minute I mean the week before. And they changed it to, I think it was Horseshoe Bend. And we had to catch a bus, and they basically took us up to the top of a foothill mountain. Vince wouldn't count this, I think, as a real mountain. But they took us up there, and honestly, it was gorgeous watching the sunrise up there. But they miscalculated how many buses they would need, and that the fact that they maybe couldn't turn the buses around up there at the top when they had that many buses up there. So there was that. But the whole thing was downhill. You basically ran 13 miles down a mountain, point to point. And that'd be great, except it was a dirt logging road that was open to traffic. And there were people bringing their boats up there, and they didn't all slow down. And so then you had this dust bowl in your face every time a vehicle went by. And downhill would be like completely like the perfect scenario for me, because I do great. It wasn't too steep, so it was just perfect. Except it was also within like 98 degrees. And even though it was a dry heat, it was really freaking hot. So it was just one of the weirdest experiences. We actually stopped and took a photo when the road turned from dirt to paved, which was unfortunately right at the end. So that just had to be one of the strangest ones. And then it was called the Freaking Fast Half Marathon. And the entire company went under literally like the next week. So some people got medals, some people didn't get medals. I got one, but it was technically the year before's medal. So it was just the strangest experience ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how many states now have you done races in?
Not as many as it might sound when you get all my travel in, like maybe, I don't know, 9 or 10.
Okay.
Well, but I have some friends that are doing all 50 states, and I'll meet them once or twice a year and add another.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to do that. So you gotta pace yourself on some of those.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I'll skip North Dakota. Although I heard Fargo is great. I heard that's an awesome race. So we'll see.
But I don't think any of us want to go to North or South Dakota right now. Rates are pretty bad right there. So.
Yeah, no, all of my races were canceled. I was supposed to do Baltimore and add Maryland, and then I was supposed to do New York again. So both of those were canceled and deferred to next year. So we'll see if it happens next year.
Okay. All right, Jeff, what are these files that you put in the?
They're pictures of you guys in previous races. There's pictures of you from previous marathons. I thought that was nice. You can see yourself. Look at the middle one. I think that's you, Brenda.
Well,
no, the first one's you.
Where are the
Look at
files
that.
in
Look at
it?
that determination. Here, wait.
In the chat.
Here she is. I just shared her.
Download. I didn't know what I was downloading.
Oh, and then here, look at that one. Can you get that?
That was last year's race, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then let me see if I got another one. I did this one too. Let's see. Hold on. How do I share a screen?
Oh, I love this one of Terry.
Oh, I like this one too.
Oh yeah.
Those are all my favorites.
Yeah.
I was just picking up pictures, because I was thinking of races, looking at my camera. What did I have on my camera?
Yeah. I know you've taken some good pictures, and your son too.
I room tonight, if you notice. So winner chicken dinner of the greatest rooms of all. Have you been watching that? So Allie's the greatest room tonight. So work on your backgrounds. Vince and Neil are working on the reflection background. You got to look in the window to actually see what's there.
Nice. All right, Dave, do you want to tell us about a good or bad race experience?
Well, I could say the best one was Akron. I can't remember what year it was. Maybe 3-4 years ago when I PR'd on that one. Otherwise, all the bad ones seem to be all the others. I mean, it's like the past probably 5 or 6 races, regardless of their marathons, you know, or the 50K. I've just been getting slower. And the one that sticks in my mind really well is the one that is back in not past summer, but last summer, where it was so hot. And I got back to when I finished the course, you know, I had to lay on the ground, you know, and I said that to everyone in the past, you know, it was just, I was just so hot and miserable and walking so much. And it seems to be that ever since then, I've been doing that more and more, but because of that, it's like, I gotta cool down and more or less try to work on the workout again.
So Dave, can we tell the story about Bigfoot? You were with Jody. Jody, you want to tell that story? You have probably the best perspective.
Well, so first of all, Dave was hurt. So I forget what he had done to his ankle or something. So I caught up with him.
That's the one where I fell.
Yeah, you fell. So I caught up with Dave and I thought, well, we'll get him to the next aid station. And we did that. And then he kept going, but then he got really, really hungry. And he pulled out this great fuel from his pocket, which was a bologna sandwich.
That you forgot about, right?
That he forgot. And then he ate this bologna sandwich and he was rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called the energy thing. You gotta, you do gotta eat when you're running like that. You know, you gotta get something in your stomach, especially after what that was like 25 or 30 miles or so. No, that was.
We were close. I think we were close.
That was
to the
about
end.
20 miles in, I think. Yeah.
Oh. And then I fell. And then I fell within the last mile. I fell into the mud pit.
No, I just think it's a great story because I think it's one of where you have some down moments and then all of a sudden you eat something and you feel a lot better. So.
Right. That's where you need the sodium. You know, when you that's one thing I learned on that. It's like you don't eat enough, and then when I did that, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, that's why I think it's just a great story about how you kind of revived during the middle. All right, Vince, what are you trying to show us? Are you trying to show us one of your best races?
Yeah, that's my dog Dexter. So that was the 2008, I think, Buckeye Half Marathon. Let me see if I can get out of the picture here. And he ran the half marathon with me.
Nice.
So he ran.
I don't think you had your dog when you pushed me to finish.
No, he was 8 years old and he ran a 1:32 half that day.
Wow.
And this was, so you see the, I should have said this was my best memory because it is a 2-loop course. And on the first loop, all the volunteers were caught off guard that this dog was running, the half. And then the Woodridge cross country team, actually, this is by Bowlands. They would always do the water stop. And on the second loop, they had cups waiting for Dexter on the ground.
Aww.
To give him water. So, but yeah, he ran the half marathon with me. So cool. Yeah, that was a great day.
Well, hopefully we've all had more good days than bad days. I know sometimes the race, we end up putting so much pressure on ourselves that maybe it's not as much fun as the training runs, or it feels, I don't know, more painful. But that's the difference with this year. So I love Leanne's version of events, even if her mean Garmin said that she was unproductive. The fact that you're out there just doing it and having fun, that's kind of what it's all about. That's what this whole season has kind of been about. And you know what, Jeff, if 26 miles just isn't going to happen for you, that's okay. It's not going to happen for me. And I'm okay with it because I know I can do it at some point in time. To arbitrarily say I have to do it in 3 weeks, it's just, it doesn't really matter right now. So yeah, I think we just all have to kind of figure out what works for us and what makes us happy. And, I know that people are going to kind of be doing their own events at certain periods in time. So the fact that we had 3 this weekend, I cannot believe that Joan did hers on the rainiest, lightning and thunder. I don't even know how she did that, because that doesn't even seem like that would have been safe to me, but she did it. And that's her first marathon. She doesn't have any other marathon experience. So I'm super proud of her. I think that she has taken this training program. I'm not sure why she decided to do it 3 weeks early, but she has just been super compliant and really out there doing it because she wanted to do it. And I think we all could do whatever we want to do if we put our minds to it. It's harder to do it all by yourself, but clearly we have examples of people who are doing it. So yeah. And Vince is just giving us a slideshow of his life right now. So
I don't tell Holly, but this probably should have been the best race because this was her first 50K on Orcas Island and we got engaged the night before. So it was a 50K with 8,000 feet of elevation gain and only three aid stations.
but that's going to be her favorite race and her story.
Well, yeah, but I was there with her. I carried everything for her.
It's his favorite too.
Yeah. So that, Brenda, that's actually at the top of Mount Constitution.
Okay. That's a good picture.
On Orcas Island. And then off in the distance, you would see Mount Baker.
Yeah, you're up farther north up there, probably Mount Baker.
I don't know. Do you see what is Mount Rainier?
Mount Rainier is closer to Tacoma and Seattle, so farther south.
Yeah.
And then Mount Adams and Mount St. Helens is much farther south than that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Very cool. So do we think that, I mean, with races kind of making their way back, you know, again, you kind of have to think about the risks versus benefits, you know, and so some of these races, there may not be much downside. Maybe it would be a great experience and easy to do and feel safe. But yeah, I don't know, as things start to kind of come back, just be interesting to see kind of how things evolve and how we, I don't know, how aid stations work. Again, I think having your vest or having your bottles and having ways to keep fluids on yourself for longer periods of time is probably a good idea. And being self-sufficient, which is kind of what we've always said, to be self-sufficient. So, but yeah. All right, I talk too much. So I'm glad to see all of you guys and everyone is doing well. Next week, what do we want to talk about?
Tapering.
Okay. Then we'll talk about tapering.
Mine's looking really good.
Yeah, now you have to run a 50K.
Now her marathon, her school marathon starts. So Leanne is coming to us from her classroom, actually, her basement classroom. So
Now she has to run a 50K.
Well,
you could do, Leanne, you could do it.
I'm up for it, Leanne.
See?
I
Yeah.
it will not be longer than 8 hours, so.
You could do it on the towpath.
Okay, well,
What do you take if you just did a marathon? What would you be tapering for?
I mean, I accidentally already tapered, so this taper is just looking good. Like I think I'm done tapering.
You could do it.
We'll see.
See, I didn't taper at all, and I think it was the better route to go.
Then you guys can still run Columbus, is what you're saying. Leanne, actually, you could run Columbus. You'd be right on track for a good old Columbus marathon.
Well,
Yeah,
they have it though. They probably
started way earlier than I wanted it to, which is kind of why I had to run when I did. It was the unintentional taper that forced all this, and the good weather.
Right. Well, we'll see what the fall brings. You know, I know that the number of COVID cases came down this last couple days, but you know, as the weather gets colder and people move inside, the chances of it coming back up are good. So getting your flu shot is important. So who's got their flu shot already? All right, good job.
I don't want them
So-
to put, I don't want them to put that tracker in me.
Okay. All right. If that's if that's how you feel about the flu shot, then we're going to be in big trouble of when we get a vaccine for COVID.
I know, then they're
So-
gonna see everything I threw through my eyes. It's so,
Life will never get back up to normal then.
no.
All right, we got cute puppy pictures. There's Carrie's.
What's
her
the dog's name?
Ferris Bueller is her dog's name.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I told her if she's ever going out of town, like I can babysit her puppy because she looks like my Murphy, so she'd get along just fine here. I might never give her back to Carrie though. That might be part of the problem. So
And then when it won't come,
you do have to give her back.
when it won't come in from outside, you have to go Bueller, Bueller.
That's what I make them do at the vet office. I just wait in the waiting room and they call her name and then I don't answer. And then they say it again and I don't answer and then they go, "Oh, I get it." It's worth it.
oh, and then Mary, your little puppy has gotten big.
He has. He's actually down here
What's the name?
chewing on a bully stick. Presley, as in Elvis.
Oh, and
He's,
this is related to Linda Stone King's dog.
yes, they're half siblings. They share a daddy.
Wow.
Come here. Come here.
Where's Bear tonight?
He's by the people he likes. He's by my.
That's him.
Oh,
Oh, he's huge.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
So he'll be a
That's
good
cute.
running partner in about a year.
Yeah.
He's 5 months now.
Oh, he's so cute.
Jody, where's your little fluff ball? Is
I don't know. She's left me today. I don't know where she went.
she hangs out with you all day during work though, right?
She does. Yeah. She sits right next to me all day.
Daytime person. She has her evening people.
Mhm.
All right, you guys, it's been fun tonight. We will talk about tapering or other random topics next week. We'll figure something out. So, all right, so just so everybody knows, it was Jeff's birthday. I'm not sure exactly what day last week, but it was Jeff's birthday. So happy birthday, Jeff.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
For allowing us to use your Zoom account so that we can all see each other every week. And thank you, Neil, for blessing us this week with your presence. And Allie, even though you're not running, you're still, hanging out with us. Super cool. So, all right, you guys are all looking great. So we'll see you next week, okay? Everybody take care and be safe. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.